Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Benefits Wise, where today we're going to be discussing how employee benefits can aid and assist in recruiting and retaining some top talent, which I know is high on the agenda for lots of HRs out there. I'm delighted to say we have a guest on board today. We have the founder of Harper Search, who are a leading financial services executive search firm, Mr. Paul Harper himself. Paul, thank you for joining us today and giving up your time.
You're very welcome. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, more than welcome, more than welcome. Paul's going to give us a really great perspective on how benefits can help out from a recruitment point of view. We're all looking forward to seeing what kind of pearls of wisdom you can be bringing to the table on that side of things, Paul. And also we have Sean, who is our partnerships director and is also along for the ride. So thank you for joining me, gents. I thought we'll talk about the first area, and this, I guess, will come across to you, Paul, talking about the impact of benefits on recruitment. So from your perspective, how do you think employee benefits helps organizations attract that top level of talent?
Well, I think they do a lot, Dan. I think, and the more senior you go, the more important it is that you're given the right benefits package, really. Mm-hmm. So we actually thought we would ask my watchers on LinkedIn, my viewers on LinkedIn, to see what they thought. And we did a poll and we said, would you leave your current company for the same salary but a better benefits package? And over half of them, 58% actually, out of 238 people, said yes, they would, which even surprised me. There's no doubt that as you progress through the years in your career and perhaps your life events, the benefits become more and more important. But I think the challenge for any benefits company is to have things that are relevant to people at all different ages, all different stages of their life, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Sean, what was your kind of take on that? I mean, that's, over half of people saying that they would leave for better benefits alone. And there's so many different areas when you're getting a new job role, isn't there? There's the whole environmental side of things, the work-life balance, et cetera, et cetera. So just that benefit side is massive.
Yeah, I think Paul hit the nail on the head about offering variety and for different populations of employees. Historically, benefits were all across the board. They were all pensions, risk, and some healthcare. Whereas, especially post-COVID, we've seen an influx of benefit proposition providers. They're able to help with different demographics of the population, I guess. And clients are really keen to focus on those particular pain points, whether it be your younger workforce getting onto the property market for the first time, helping them with their financial well-being. Again, as people move through their career, they might be then looking at, additional training or support that they can go through. How can that be funded by the workplace? We've done a lot at the moment with reproductive health, caregiving. Benefits is so far away from traditionally what it was now that I think it becomes a signal of intent from an employer of choice of how much they value their employees. Paul and I have plenty of conversations around benefits and the attraction and retention of candidates, but it really does give that candidate that warm, fuzzy, excited feeling, I think, when going for an interview, to know that the company clearly supports them and value their employees and their people.
That's a great point to pick up on, Sean. And actually, we'll come back to you, Paul. So from a candidate perspective, how often do you get inquiries from people around what the benefits package is looking like when they're thinking of job roles, and how much of a deciding factor is that playing into this whole recruitment and retention?
I think it's interesting. So if you sort of position ourselves, you're aware that we're headhunters, so we're usually dealing with somebody who is perhaps not looking to move, but will consider a serious approach from a headhunter in the right way. What you tend to find is they will make a default assumption that there will be a problem between maybe their existing employer's benefits package and the new ones. So sometimes you have to set their mind at rest that can be dealt with. Obviously, in financial services market, particularly financial advice market, you've got some small employers who give practically nothing in the way of benefits. You've got some new entrants who are only just getting into the benefits scene. So some of these buy and build PE-backed businesses have said, we've only got a few benefits at the moment, but we're going to add later. And then you've got established companies, your big corporates, and even, all sizes of companies that are offering a sort of full benefits package. And it does make a difference. I was chatting to Dan about this the other day. Some of the most extremes I had was when we were working with somebody who went on to be group sales director of what is now a PLC through us. And their wife was having treatment through their medical provider at the time that we approached them. Now, they didn't initially tell us that, but became apparent through the process that this was a real worry. They weren't going to be willing to change medical providers at the time if that was going to prevent the wife from carrying on getting a very important treatment. So actually, we were able to set their mind at rest. The company was able to continue paying the benefits to the previous medical provider until that sort of treatment was finished, which I think was about 2 years. So that was quite an extreme example where someone wouldn't have moved without it. And you just don't know what people's life events are. So people don't normally come to us and say, what are the benefits? And if we're going to someone, we have to bear in mind what actually is on the table. So sometimes we've got a full benefit provision from an employer we're working for, and sometimes we've got a less full benefit. We might even just be an auto-enrollment pension in some of the extreme cases,
Yep.
And so in those cases, when we approach people, we are mindful of what we've got on the table. If the package is a full one with perhaps a lot of flexible benefits in it, that's something we're going to be promoting when we're talking to individuals. And undoubtedly, like I just read you from that poll we took, a lot of people are very attracted to the benefits. But clearly, if we haven't got those benefits, we're going to be talking about other things, culture, cash, maybe share options in certain cases, and so on and so forth. So it does matter, but we only are going to promote what we've got on the table to promote. We're not the ones who set the benefits. We're the ones who take what we're offered.
Of course, yeah, of course. I just want to pick up on your point about culture, and a question for you, Sean. How do you think a benefits package can help reflect the culture of an organization so that, people are really bought into that business and the ethos and the mission statements of where they're actually heading?
Yeah, I think if you look at a lot of the benefit strategy conversations we're having at the moment, they are around diversity. Are the products and proposition that we've got appropriate for a multi-generational workforce? Are they appropriate at both ends? That comes across in how they're promoted around what the inclusion policies might be and all these types of things. We're seeing companies having those and advertising those and promoting them to new employees and new candidates. One point I did want to pick up on that I think Paul mentioned was around sort of salary and package. One thing we are seeing a lot of at the moment is organisations looking at total reward schemes and statements so that employees truly understand the value of the offer and the package that they've got currently or the one that they're going to. That's something that we're seeing a lot of organisations look to put in place, because some people, through lack of communication or technology or platform, don't have the ability to understand what their pension might be of value, what their private medical might be, what their life insurance might value, and what the overall package is. Plenty of organisations have seen people leave their company for an effective pay rise with cash or with salary, as Paul's saying. But actually, when you look at the overall package, it isn't as glamorous as it been. So sorry to answer your question in a different way there, Dan, but that's one thing we're seeing is the culture through diversity with the opportunity. And to hit on Paul's part, the fact that actually you really need to truly understand the value of your whole package rather than just salary.
That's great. No, I think you're absolutely spot on with that. And it leads me onto the next area, which is talking about maximizing benefits. So, we speak to many organizations of all different shapes and sizes, and quite often we're talking about, budgets. There's no getting around it. If people want to offer more benefits, there's often that conversation with finance about, what do we actually have available? So we just wanted to touch on the point of, are there any areas which, we can help create budget, or we can optimize budget for maximizing their benefit spend? And that has over to you, Sean.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's sort of two ways of answering that. The first one is making sure the benefits that you've actually got in place have been reviewed, are valued by the employees that have you got. Have you asked them what they want? It might be that you're spending, seen lots of sort of group life propositions where it's 8-10 times salary for employees that don't truly value it. Can actually the proposition be repackaged to be of different value, then offer those options as top ups? So my first answer would be around, actually, let's have a look what you've currently got. Is it being valued? Is it being used? Is it being utilized? Secondly, where I've got this opinion that everybody that works in HR has sort of got this maternalistic view that they would love to look after their employees and they want to all do all the right things. And there's nothing worse when an employee comes to you with a challenge, a situation, or something that really affect their work or their life. It does come down to the budget. A lot of the conversations we're having at the moment is, how can you create budget? How can you find better value or repurpose some of the stuff that you've got to go to your FD and go, we're looking to put this in place, but actually we can make some cost savings in these areas. And some of the areas that we're talking about are having a look at the private healthcare. Are there excesses in place? Is it set up under the correct terms? A lot of work is going into our pensions, having a look at salary sacrifice. Is that positioned correctly? Are we making sure that we're making the most of that for both employer and employee? And then there's a few electric vehicle schemes that can offer huge support when it comes to national insurance savings. One of the organisations that we've just worked with, they're potentially going to be implementing it for 400 to 500 employees. If they get a standard take-up rate that we'd see in the market, they would make a very substantial contribution to their budget, and that can be repurposed. It can be repurposed into technology. It can be repurposed into increasing pensions. Again, alongside the electric vehicle scheme, I've seen companies use that national insurance saving to fund charges at the office, encouraging people come back to work. This additional budget can really enhance the proposition and the package offered to the employees. So, yeah, I think most of my conversations start in this place. Sean, we'd love to do more. We've got this challenge. Can you help us?
I think if I could just add to that, it's really important to know that not everyone wants the same thing. You talked about multi-generational, didn't you, Sean? Yeah. And that's the thing, if we're dealing with somebody, family with a family, they're going to want different benefits to somebody who, doesn't have a family, or somebody later in their career. You suddenly see the importance of pensions when it's looming up on you. You suddenly think, oh my goodness, I'd rather have extra paid in. We see a lot of people who are saying, I want to just earn under 100,000. Everything else I want to do salary sacrifice into my pension. That's quite a common thing which is happening at the moment. Something else I think that we're seeing a lot of is, some people just like travel and holidays. And if you don't realise that some people really just want to give up an extra 10, get an extra 10 days holiday, that's more important to them than anything else. And I mean, when that's quite an extreme example, but I'll actually have people come to me with that type of thing and say, I'm only prepared to go if I can match my current holidays. That might be 35 days a year. And they might not care so much if they might be single. There might be various reasons why they don't need or want other options. So your flexi bends, which I know you do a lot of, is really key. This understanding that not a workforce isn't a single requirement. They have different requirements. I know you know that only too well. But it's very clear when we deal with people that never make assumptions about what's going to be important to them. Try and find out what's important to them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's but if you can tailor the package as much as physically possible, then that's going to be a win-win, isn't it? Paul, I wanted to ask you. I guess we all know it's a very competitive job market at the moment. It is a real fight, a real battle out there to get that top talent. Do you have any kind of tips or kind of guidance for anyone in HR who might be getting into that kind of tussle with other organisations?
Interested. I would say it's about understanding the importance of understanding your candidate, really. So this aspect of being bespoke. I mean, genuinely, I know you can't really massively be bespoke. You can undoubtedly be flexible, and you can look at what matters to them. So obviously, big one is equity. Companies that are providing equity, we've got a position at the moment on, and that will clearly be very, very attractive to a lot of people who are at the height of their buying power, if you think about it, really, or their selling power, their ability to sell themselves. At the moment, for instance, we've got a real tight requirement with somebody who's probably chartered and got an MBA, which for our industry is the opposite end of the scale. I mean, I've got both of those, but it's pretty unusual because normally you either went down sort of chartered route as advisor with an advisor firm, or you were at a very big company, and therefore they didn't give you, but they give you the support. And don't forget training support as well. A lot of people really in their mid-career see that training support as really, really important to them.
Yeah,
so
development.
MBA qualification backing, as an example, is really valuable. It makes a person feel really valued. And of course, normally, if you've locked them in for a number of years with a sort of the relevant scheme, they will feel loyalty to you and they will remain with you. Yeah. So I'd say to people, understand that one size doesn't fit all. Try and try and have some flexibility, which will work to attract the person that you want to attract and treat them as an individual. And if you're working with a headhunter, of course, the headhunter can really help you with that.
Absolutely. That's brilliant. I think we've covered some good ground there today, guys. We were shooting for 15 minutes. We've gone 1 minute over, so I'll count that as a win for us. Actually, I think it's difficult to try and stick with the time frames, especially when this is such a big topic, isn't it? Like I said, we do know that there is a talent war going on out there, and everyone wants to win that battle. Yeah, hopefully we've given you some good things to think about. So please, please subscribe to Benefits Wise wherever you get your podcasts or your videos. Leave us a review. Tell us what you think. If there's any burning questions, Paul, I'm assuming people can get in touch with you on LinkedIn or via the website, or simply pick up the phone, do a Google search. All the
I'm pretty Googleable, Dan. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, Paul does some great videos on LinkedIn, so I would say to everyone, definitely LinkedIn with him. It's there's some very funny stuff which he does on there, but also good content. It's not all about having fun, is it?
It's getting the balance, enough fun and a little bit of serious stuff.
Exactly. Brilliant. Well, thank you today, gents, and to everyone who's listening, thank you, and we will catch you on the next one.
Thanks for us indeed.
Thank you. Cheers, Dan.
Thank you.